right, we got some special battles today. I reached out to HouseStark on Twitter to ask him if I could cover his battles because I saw that he had tweeted he hit rank 9 with ZWEILOUS and Venusaur. Now, Venusaur is not the spiciest pick in Great League, but ZWEILOUS is, while being ranked pretty high, not something you see very often. And this is going to be a few days late. He actually hit rank 9 a little while ago as of recording this, so you're going to be seeing it even later. Rank 9 was pretty early on when he got this, so it was a pretty high rank that he's going. And I've only ever gotten against HouseStark once, and I did best him, but it was honestly just a team comp victory, and I am excited to see our next rematch. Now, if you don't even know who HouseStark is, I should probably introduce him. He was the first person to hit rank 10 back when that was the highest rank in season 1, and he has proved himself in the years afterwards to be one of the highest ranked battlers in the world, always on the leaderboard, always, participating in competitions, doing very well, and he only really streams on Twitch, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he makes YouTube videos. I'll link his Twitch, Twitter, if he does YouTube, I'll link all of it relevant down below. And I'm very, very happy that he was allowing me to cover these games. And he even provided the IVs so that we could get the correct information that we can share with you guys here today. Now, these battles are sped up by like double speed, so hopefully it's not too quick. I did cover 3 of the 5 sets leading up to rank 9. I tried not to just cherry pick the best sets, so we might be seeing some good mistakes here and there, but I was not there live for the stream, so I have not seen these battles before. Now, if this is Charm, it's bad. Okay, so Ninetales in the lead, that's honestly where you want to see it, because frankly, Powder Snow is going to be shredding apart his backline, so getting that on the lead is quite nice. Now, his Medicham is XL like a little bit. I think it's level 42 or so, because he did power it up back when they maxed out under 1500, so it appears as though he has not built a full-on XL Machamp like many people have, and that's okay, because that is a ridiculous amount of XL candy. And honestly, if you've already powered up in max level 40 a perfect Medicham, you might as well just stick with what you've got, and now he's just going to do any kind of chip damage that he can. Mew is always a mixed bag, so it's kind of dependent on what he has in the back, and I don't really think he thinks it matters. Obviously, Dark Pulse would do a ton, but at this range, honestly, Body Slam would be probably fine, and I honestly think you probably should have just let it go down, because Venusaur would have had a great matchup against Azu in the back, so it doesn't really matter here. Again, ZWEILOUS is a high-ranked Pokemon, so Body Slam and Dragon Breath are going to be pretty spammy, doing pretty good neutral damage, even getting a shield. This is cropped for the footage, but in his stream, he even did a thumbs up for that. He might not have been referring to this, but getting a shield right there was really, really nice, because Ice Beam is still going to threaten the health on Venusaur, so being able to get off 2 Frenzy Plants is really, really nice, and I think he's going to be able to make it. He might even have to sack swap, Medicham, but Venusaur is still pretty tanky. He's probably going to be completely fine here, still in the yellow, not even in the red, and I don't know if he just performed a sack swap there, but I think Mew might be catching this pretty soon here. Yeah, he was probably trying to get off a move on Mew, but honestly, I think Vinewit might be able to do it. Knowing HouseStark, he's either counting or really aware of where the energy values are at, and so is the opponent, because these are already like rank 7. This was like day 2 or 3, so these guys were already quite knowing what they're doing, and so I'm pretty sure the opponent saw that was completely over. Even if he threw a move on the Azu, like towards his last Pokemon, Medicham was going to knock that out no problem. So apparently that's a bad matchup for Medicham. I actually don't know how Galvantula fares against Medicham. I think everybody on his team just soft loses to Galvantula. Maybe ZWEILOUS has the best matchup, I'm not certain. But yeah, once again met with his Azumarill. And that is probably why ZWEILOUS is like deceivingly high ranking. It's ranked 23 on PvPoke. I looked it up right before recording this, but it's so walled by Azumarill, which is basically everywhere, that it's not that great. And as I'm saying this, he's doing a ton of damage, even getting a shield. Man, that Body Slam is spammy. However, Azumarill dedicated a shield by not throwing more energy, so I'm pretty sure it's at like 100 right now. He might let this go. I think it's a good shield right there, because, okay, he's going for Play Rough, which tells me that he's running Play Rough and Hydro Pump, because I don't see any reason you'd go Play Rough there. Was that a Stunfisk that just came in? Because, yeah, he probably wants to keep that away from the Medicham, and that makes perfect sense to me. Now, Medicham, like I said, I don't think it has that bad of a matchup against Galvantula, and I don't know that it's any better than Venusaur, so he might just sack all of these rock slides, let it go through, and yeah, come in with the Medicham. So if he lands a Psychic right here, he's going to be sitting pretty. This is almost certainly a lunge. That's probably why he's letting it go, but it's still going to do a pretty good neutral damage, and he's going to line this up just so that he doesn't CMP tie. I'm fairly certain Galvantula wouldn't CMP tie against Medicham, and just throwing it right there is denying him that energy anyway, and yeah, the opponent knows that he is going to get to an ice punch long before that Stunfisk is going to get to an Earth Earthquake, and oof, seeing that jacket. To those who don't play Pokemon Go very much, the jacket HouseStark is wearing is only obtainable by level 50 players. So if you had any doubt that we were dealing with somebody who knew what they were doing, there you go. This is a very, very experienced battler, and it's kind of nice because no offense to my friends, I'm really not trying to be rude, but a lot of the people that I've been covering on my channel recently are friends of the community, and a lot of people just got into Pokemon Go. So they're still learning, and that's completely fine, as am I. But I have wanted to cover some really, really, really like high skill battles from people who have been playing for a lot. You can see that he has more wins than I've played games. So that is somebody who has a ton more experience on this than I do, and I might reach out to some other content creators, maybe even HouseStark again. If I see that they're running like interesting teams on stream, I don't think it's too bad of a question to be like, hey, can I just cover your battles? Like literally, this is no effort from your end, just let me commentate because I'd like to showcase them. Now, pretty meta picks here, Stun Fisk all around. I think he's just going to let this go, farm down with whatever he chooses. Medicham is going to get a lot of energy off that, and I might have even considered staying in. Air Slash is going to be bad to both sides here, but maybe throwing one Ice Punch before swapping would have been good, but he might just be banking that energy for later. 2 shields on the Tropius. I wonder if Ice Punch from Medicham does more than a Sludge Bomb from Venusaur, because I know that Sludge Bomb is a better move, but Ice Punch is double super effective, so I'm not actually sure how that works out there, but yeah, he's just letting it go. And he seemed upset in the stream recording there. I'm pretty sure he was expecting a Leaf Blade bait there, and I think he had to call that in order to win the game. He might shield and still make it to an Ice Punch. I think it's worth going for, but I think by not calling that bait on the Aerial Ace, that kind of secured the matchup. Is he going to get to it? Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. So that is one of those matches where he might have had some play if that Tropius decided to bait, because if he goes for Leaf Blade, it's double resisted on the Venusaur, and if it's Aerial Ace, then it knocks him out no problem. Skarmory, another interesting pick to where he can't really switch out because Venusaur is completely walled by it, and ZWEILOUS doesn't really have a good matchup, but Medicham is currently proving why it's basically number 1 in the Great League right now. XL Medicham is, but still, regular Medicham is still quite good. It just does so much damage, even in losing matchups where this is technically winning for Skarmory. If he shields this, he takes lead easily. And I think this is worth going. Just let it go. Yeah, he's going to farm down with ZWEILOUS, no doubt. Definitely don't want to come in with Venusaur. It's going to be double resisted on the Skarmory, and Skarmory is absolutely going to get to another Leaf Blade, and double Fairy in the back. I was about to say double Charm, and that is probably fine. Azumarill has a hugely losing matchup to Venusaur, and by not shielding that, he can just farm and he can just shield and farm all the way down. Ice Beam is going to hurt a lot more than pretty much anything from the Charmer. Even if the Charmer has Ice Beam, which I think they all do, it's still going to hurt a lot less than Azumarill, because if I'm not mistaken, does Azumarill have a higher damage than Clefable? I'm not really sure. I think Clefable had to call a bait there, and that's kind of why they let that go, but honestly, I think he was going to get to double Sludge Bomb anyway, and even if they knew that, that's probably why they let it go as well. So that was a pretty dominant matchup. Venusaur is definitely pulling its weight there. It kind of makes sense to run a poison type in the back because ZWEILOUS being super weak to Charmers, you kind of need to be able to handle that. And his team is really weak to Charmers now that I think about it. Medicham and ZWEILOUS are both not going to appreciate a Charmer on the opposing team, so that is not going to be any good. And this is still another matchup where it's like losing by all counts, but he's still able to just get off tons of damage. And I was thinking he could farm down with Venusaur or Medicham here, but it looks like he's just going to coming with Medicham, and yeah, I'm not really sure if taking that is going to be good or not, so he's definitely going to shield that, farm down, and here comes Swampert. So Swampert versus Venusaur is something he would probably love to align here, and swapping out as fast as he can was definitely trying to do so. Umbreon in the back, not bad. I think if he saves a shield for the Medicham in the back, he's basically got this, because Medicham can farm Umbreon down all day long. Frenzy Plants are just going to chip him away. Throwing this on the charge move so that he doesn't get an extra Snarl through. I saw that. I caught that one for sure. I would let this go completely. Farm down with Medicham and try to get off all that energy. And he might even just sack. Oh, he's going to get off. Ooh, he swapped. Did he swap? I'm not actually sure. It looked like the Umbreon swapped. Oh, maybe it's just the stream footage. Yeah, he can definitely come in with Medicham. I wonder if he can tank a move here. We're about to find out. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, Medicham has a much higher attack than I'd previously thought. I think he can shield this, and before he gets to, I think he just went on the 5 cycle. Oh, he is going to get one more. But he kept that Venusaur alive, so one Vine Whip should secure the victory. Whoo, that was close. 1 HP in a dream. Yeah, whenever an opponent dies with a shield like that, I just wonder, like, was there a point where he could have just shielded something and potentially flipped that game. I don't know. 4-1 to start off the video, but I think that was his second set with his team. The very first set, he tried to lead Skarmory, and he actually won those games, but then decided to go Medicham. Again, I didn't watch the full stream, so I'm not certain exactly what the decision was there, but I figured I might as well tune in when he was switching to Medicham, and he was freaking out on stream right there. Yeah, the defense buff was the only reason he was able to kill that Alola Ninetales, so that is huge. Marowak versus ZWEILOUS is really good for ZWEILOUS. Bow Club is not going to be a huge threat, and Fire Blast and Shadow Bone, Shadow Ball are both heavily resisted there. And while Venusaur versus Empoleon isn't that great of a matchup, the opponent decides that that is definitely over. And it's fun watching the stream replay on this because he is quite freaking out in the stream footage right now. If you want to see the full link to this stream, I'll link the VOD down in the description below. But it will probably time out because Twitch doesn't store these forever. But yeah, he was definitely very happy about that victory. It's always hilarious to watch an opponent back out like that because you feel bad, but that game was completely over. So there you go. Yeah, Galvantula, again, pretty hard for this entire team to beat, but he can pretty much handle this with a little bit of a group effort. Just get some energy off on I like that, actually. Get some energy off with Medicham, and then as soon as he does the lunge debuff, then you swap out, which in that case, doing lunge didn't really help the Galvantula much. It just gave it more farm, which will be resisted on the Umbreon. Oh my goodness, I mean reduced damage, I should say. Won't be resisted, but it will be debuffed, and that might actually help the ZWEILOUS even more, just getting off more and more energy. He's gonna be resisting absolutely everything, and I'm not really certain if the lead was Galvantula, right? So he might actually consider swapping out. Maybe he's just gonna tank the ZWEILOUS, because if he can get it low enough, the Umbreon with Body Slam and Dragon Breath, he might be able to just farm down with Medicham. Even from this range, he should be able to get a nice farm out of that, and Last Resort comes in. That's a good amount of energy, and with a Charmer in the back, I eat my words, because swapping out would have completely lost him the game. Sludge Bomb is double super effective, and the opponent might just let that go because they know that this game is completely over. Yeah, that is brutal for the opponent. Oh my goodness. There is nothing this Umbreon can do, and I'm not really even sure why they're staying in, because this is going to get the final shield or just end the game early, and Medicham is definitely going to be able to farm down. So I'm really not sure what the play is. Maybe they're trying to build up to 2 foul plays, but Medicham, yeah, he's chuckling right now on stream. Medicham does not does not have any trouble finishing that matchup. But sometimes people have the philosophy of just keep tapping. I'm in more of the way of like, I don't know why. I'm always trying to like speed run my battles, which is probably a bad thing, and that's going to lose me a game at some point. But I always see it where like, if the game is over, just leave. Just save us some time. Some people will throw a move when they're like 1 counter away from dying, and I've got a shield, and I'm like, why? What are you doing? Okay, bad call. I'm assuming he was expecting a Bone Club there. ZWEILOUS and no, Venusaur has a really bad matchup, so he might just be trying to call the bait there. That's not worth it. Yeah, shielding for that wouldn't have made any sense, because he could have gotten an Ice Punch off, but that's not going to do too much. And as we already discussed, ZWEILOUS does a huge amount of damage to Marowak without taking much from it. And this is interesting. I'm actually curious how ZWEILOUS is going to fare. If that goes through, that's good, and if it doesn't, that's really bad. Everything else is resisted. He has to go straight for Dark Pulse, and I might even, yeah, double shield this, because Venusaur is never going to have any play against a Skarmory here. It is not going to be a good time. So that is interesting. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Dark Pulse is going to do a ton of neutral damage. We are probably in Body Slam range. I would shield and farm all the way down. He knows that he's throwing like right on the Sky Attack, so he can probably get off a bunch of extra energy, and Venusaur is going to have no play in this game. That is insane. Yeah, Grass and Steel is going to double resist Frenzy Plant, and Sludge Bomb is going to be single resisted, I believe, because it's double resisted by Steel, and then it's super effective on Grass. So it's single on the Sludge Bomb, double on the Grass, and he knows this just as well. Throwing the Poison move is going to be a lot more effective in this matchup, but it's still going to be bad. Like, look at that damage. You might as well be hitting for neutral. This is brutal. Thunder is probably the right play there, because the Power Whips are double resisted, and this might actually end up pretty well, because if the Venusaur goes down here, he might be able to farm down his ZWEILOUS, but honestly, having no play versus Skarmory doesn't really make sense when he's that low, and ooh, he's gonna catch the move. I don't think that's necessary, but it's definitely gonna secure the victory. I don't think that would have mattered. Either he throws it on the Venusaur and you farm down with ZWEILOUS, or he throws it on the ZWEILOUS and you farm down the Venusaur. I don't really think there's any way that he loses that game at that point. Skarmory dying to a Frenzy Plant. That is impressive. I did not know that ZWEILOUS was this effective. Maybe we're just seeing some good battles, but his whole sets were positive. I picked like good ones here, but they were all good. Like 3-2 is the worst he did, and I'm seeing it. So Toxicroak needs to be careful, because Sludge Bomb will Normal hurt for a lot, and he shielded it. That's good. But Psychic would way more than KO. In fact, this isn't exactly for the Medicham setup, but I once landed a Psystrike with a Shadow Mewtwo on a Toxicroak, and I did the math on PvPoke. I brought up the battle and was curious just how much that did. And a Shadow Mewtwo Psystrike versus a Toxicroak with perfect stats on both ends did 344% damage. You could have killed 3.5 Toxicroaks, the amount of damage that came from that. So maybe that's not quite as hard as Medicham is hitting, but suffice it to say, Psychic would probably kill Toxicroak twice over. And Stunfisk versus Venusaur. I'm pretty sure Venusaur wins this like pretty comfortably. And again, ZWEILOUS with energy is pretty effective, so I don't really think it matters whether he wins or loses his matchup. He might even try to swap like he did there, and this is pretty good because Venusaur had a great matchup against Azumarill, but ZWEILOUS didn't really have much to do against this whole team. In fact, he can probably get it really, really low. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the Azumarill low enough for farm down range on the Venusaur, but he should definitely be able to probably come in with Venusaur, farm as much as he can, shield whatever comes through, and then throw the move, and be able to have a lot of energy stored for the Stunfisk, because the Stunfisk can't exactly KO, I don't think. Yeah, he's definitely going to let it go, farm down, and shield this definitely, because even a Play Rough is going to KO here. All of it's going to hurt. And that should be enough for almost a Frenzy Plant. But the Stunfisk had a move. Rock Slide's not quite going to KO. Ooh, Frenzy Plant comes through. And I think he should be able to Vine Whip before it comes in. Oh, one more Dragon Breath. Woo! Very, very, very close game. Absolute photo finish. And I'm loving this stream replay, by the way. He is freaking out right alongside me. That was a very lost game. You could tell by the way, I'm watching this on mute, but you could tell by the way he was reacting. Like, that was a lost game altogether, and he honestly got very, very close there. That just proves how oppressive Dragon Breath can be. Azumarill with 1 HP just gets killed before anything can happen. Now, this is a pretty neutral matchup. Ice Punch is going to be doing super effective. Shadow Ball is going to absolutely nuke from the Drifblim side of things, but he can't really swap out because Icy Wind is way too easy for it to spam, and everything in the back line is going to take super effective from it. So he's probably just going to soften up with Icy Wind, and then I don't know, double shield on the ZWEILOUS? Oh, he's going to get it killed before. Okay, they swapped out. That Dragon Breath was adding up fast, and I think that Drifblim was not going to make it to another move. So they're probably going to swap out, secure whatever energy they can, perhaps come back in with that Medicham matchup. If they can realign that Drifblim to the Medicham, they're going to be able to farm a lot of energy. But yeah, Stunfisk versus ZWEILOUS. I guess you can shield this and probably go for the Dark Pulse, but he's just going to let it go. That's fine. Maybe throw the Body Slam just for whatever extra damage you can get off. As we've already seen multiple times now, Venusaur has a really good matchup against Stunfisk. Super bulky. He's just going to try and... Okay. All right. I was going to say, he's not going to make it to an Ice Punch. He's just going to try and get off as much damage as he can, but making the Stunfisk throw a move is great. Drifblim comes in for no apparent reason, and the enemy might even just leave. This is really good for Venusaur. Double shielded means this is going to be... Yeah, this is honestly just over. I think a Frenzy Plant would KO after a few Vine Whips. By the time he gets to a Frenzy Plant, he'll definitely KO from the damage, and this match is essentially... Wow, this wasn't even close. This was just an absolute domination. Poor guy on the enemy team. Oh, there's a Politoed. Oh my goodness, I completely lost track of the entire team. You know what, though? I stand by what I'm saying. Politoed gets completely nuked. Boom, just gone. Wow, you guys ever have those battles where they just draw on for so long that you just forget there's an enemy opponent? 5-0 on that battle. Really, really nice. Again, I didn't even cherry pick these that well. I picked like his second game and then his fourth and fifth. So I think on the next set, he actually hit level 8, and now we're actually on level 8. So I skipped a set. It was a 3-0. I just wanted to show the final two right before the final. I think I went 2, I don't even know. I thought it was 2-4-5, but I'm not even sure what I showed here. Either or. Again, Skarmory is a tricky one for this team, but it looks like Medicham just has a really decent matchup. I'm surprised that he's going for Psychic. Maybe he knows something I don't, but I feel like Ice Punch would be sufficient there, and really good counting on his end, throwing this right on the CMP tie or right before he gets to a Sky Attack. That is good for 2 reasons. 1, it gives you the most amount of energy that you can possibly farm, and 2, it really encourages an enemy to shield, because if you throw a move right after somebody threw all their energy, usually they're not really gonna care. You know, their energy dry, they might just let the move go. But if he just got to a Sky Attack, obviously he wants to throw that move, and yeah, I just watched him. It's funny. His little mannerisms in the video is like exactly what I'm feeling. As soon as you see the Polytoad come in, you're like, oh, okay, this game is clear. He probably won't even shield this. Okay, he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight. Maybe he's going for like a Hail Mary Blizzard or something. He's definitely not gonna make it to it. I know that Diggersby can spam Fire Punch, so that's probably pretty dangerous. But he knows that he needs to get to at least 3 of those to KO, and that's why he didn't throw. That happens pretty regularly for me too. Like, I know if they have a shield, I'm not even going to throw until I have 2 of the move that I'm farming for, because all that does is open you up to a situation where if he throws the move, Venusaur can sneak in an extra Vine Whip, and you might get behind on energy, so it's best to just build up to 2, and in that case, he wasn't even going to make it to 2. So this is one of those situations where Medicham having a Psychic typing on top of the Fighting typing is great, because otherwise, Hypno would be shredding Medicham right now. You can't really safe swap, because this is an interesting team. It's almost like a BBA team with a lot, because Medicham and Venusaur share some weaknesses, where Medicham and ZWEILOUS share that Charm weakness, and then Medicham and Venusaur also share that Flying and Psychic weakness. But ZWEILOUS kind of shuts down a lot of that. Not the Charmers necessarily, but, you know, the Venusaur has. This is a really imbalanced team, which works fairly well. There's a Skarmory. Love to see it. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what he has in the back, but bringing out a Skarmory versus ZWEILOUS is definitely a bad move when he doesn't know that there's a Venusaur in the back. I don't know what matchup he has in the back that's bad against ZWEILOUS or why he chose Skarmory, but if he had any idea that there was a Venusaur back there, maybe that opponent would have made a different choice. But I think this matchup is okay. So Umbreon. Yeah, Umbreon doesn't even... Would it even have that bad of a matchup against ZWEILOUS? I'm sure it's fairly neutral. Obviously, with that much of a... Okay, he's going to catch. That's probably last resort. Yeah. Oh, man, that's a really good move. I think HouseStark is noting here that Venusaur is going to have no play against that Skarmory, so because they took so long to swap out, he can just take advantage of the fact that that switch timer isn't back up. Throwing the Vine Whip just so that he doesn't get any extra snarls through, not a bad move. And he's probably going to get outpaced to the next one, but that's fine. I would honestly shield and throw, but, you know, these aren't my battles. Maybe he knows something I don't. Yeah, farming up a lot of extra energy is going to be crucial here. I think 1 Air Slash might get through, but he might also make it. Okay, and it's not even a matter. Wow. Whew. Man, these games are sweaty. We're only in rank 7, and these games are sweaty. There's a lot going on. Whew, finding the next opponent. Yeah, I don't even know if he would have been able to make it to that next Frenzy Plant. I don't know if he's going to be able to sneak in another Vine Whip, but anyway, Galvantula, very common pick. He's definitely at a lunge now. He's just going to let it through. I wonder if he just throws a Discharge just to get that extra damage, but it wouldn't really matter. I think he's going to need to throw 2 charge moves to kill anyway, so it looks like he's just going to do what he did before, where he just, you know, switches out midway. Another Azumarill. This is why ZWEILOUS is kind of a tricky safe swap, and I'm so surprised that he's making it work, because this body slam damage really, really adds up. And I think we've seen this matchup enough times today. I'm just going to skip ahead. Looks like he's letting the Ice Beam go through. The body slams are building up, and he's not going to shield this. All right, he's just going to let it go through. Totally makes sense. And he's going to swap into Medicham. Oh, no, that was Venusaur. I thought he tapped the Medicham. Get a couple of Vine Whips in, and that is up to a Frenzy Plant. And honestly, you got to shield this. Yeah, Frostlass almost always runs Avalanche and Shadow Ball. Sometimes they can run Crunch. I've seen that to be kind of effective in the mirror match, but you definitely want to shield it, because assuming they're running the usual moveset, their fast charge move, their bait move is Avalanche, and that is going to absolutely delete a Venusaur. Essentially, he's just, I think, sacking the Medicham at this point. He knew that he stored the energy on that Galvantula, and he's just going to swap out to catch it. All he needs to do is land a Sludge Bomb at this point. Even with a lunge debuff, it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make any difference, because he's definitely going to get this off. And even a Frenzy Plant would have done the job here, but Sludge Bomb is going to be neutral and absolutely safe to throw. Whew. I don't know actually how many battles we have left. We might have 2 or 3. Maybe that was the last one. Let me just the timeline here. We have a few minutes left. Okay, I think we have 2 battles left. So these are really fun. I might reach out to him or another content creator again, because to cover some of these battles from even people I don't know personally is kind of interesting. Ice Punch is going to be great to spam here. Psychic is going to nuke. ZWEILOUS and he has a mirror in the back are both going to do pretty well. Oh, he's just going to let that through. Okay. I think in this case, Ice Punch is not only good for baiting, but I think 2 Ice Punches might do more damage than 1 Psychic. He's going to save it and just switch into Venusaur. Okay, Sableye versus Venusaur. I'm not 100% sure how this matchup goes, but I know that Sableye is really, Really not very bulky, and I'm not sure why he didn't shield that. He's just gonna throw a foul play and go down. All right, not a bad matchup at all. Stunfisk versus Venusaur. Even with that steel typing resisting the grass, it is not that close of a matchup. Look at that, almost half damage from a Frenzy Plant, and he's gotten off 2 of them before the Stunfisk even threw once. He is not in Rock Slide range. Earthquake would KO, and he might be going for that, but it looks like he's just going to double Rock Slide, switch into the Metachamp, start to farm down, and I would have gone for the Psychic. Maybe he's trying to just Ice Punch and farm. That could make sense. I would have definitely gone for the Psychic, nuke the Venusaur, and then just counter down the Stunfisk. Although at this point, with the amount of Pokemon he has left, it doesn't really matter anyway. It looks like he's just going to get extra energy on the Venusaur. Honestly, he could just, I was going to say, he could have just come in with ZWEILOUS and flexed on him, because I don't think this is going to be a very close matchup. Not at all. Is he really going to go for the Dark Balls? I'm pretty sure that Stunfisk is almost in Body Slam range, and he's totally just going to let it go. He's just going to absolutely flex on this guy. Oh my goodness. You are just nasty. Look at him go. Is he even going to throw? He's going to throw. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure how bulky Stunfisk is in this matchup, because I'm not actually 100% sure about the attack stat on ZWEILOUS. Either or, that is an interesting situation where I feel like it's funny that a lot of times in Great League we see these second stage Pokemon where obviously Hydreigon exists, but Hydreigon has so much higher base stats than ZWEILOUS that in Great League being capped at 1500 CP hurts. So it's a little awkward that the lower tier evolution can actually be a little bit more effective than the third tier. Now that's interesting. I didn't even catch the lead Pokemon, but a safe switch on to Alolan Ninetales. We already talked about earlier how this is a really bad one for the entire team. I think just sacking it completely and letting Metacham come in to do his job is going to be probably the best way to go there. Getting off an Ice Punch might be necessary here. I don't know if he's 5 Powder Snows. I don't know if he's going to... Oh, that's bad. That is really, really bad. Some of the times they run Dazzling Gleam. Most Alolan Ninetales actually run with Powder Snow, Weather Ball, and Psyshock, but Dazzling Gleam can be a very, very unwelcome surprise, and I don't actually see any way that he wins this. It looks like he's just playing it out, but yeah, losing 2 Pokemon to the lead like that is insane. Or I guess technically the safe switch, but yeah. Oh, he's going to shield it. Okay. I mean, yeah, no, there's no hope for that game. Sometimes you just make the bad calls, and that's how it happens. Very, very often in the end game, in like the higher rank battles, my bad, it's actually pretty 50-50 whether or not you should shield. Sometimes it's smart to shield because that'll do a lot of damage, but other times it's also smart to not shield because they could be baiting, and it just honestly comes down to a coin flip, and sometimes you call it right, sometimes you don't, but I think he catches this for a while. I'm not really sure the success rate there. But he gets the Galvantula and that 100% XL candy, which is nice to see. And you can see that he hits rank 9 when he collects the rewards. And down there, you can actually see that he has he's now 44 and 55 in this league so far. So I believe that's an 80% win rate. So he is doing really, really well right now. And I appreciate you for letting me use the battles. If anybody else wants to support the channel, I guess you could subscribe. Don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I've recorded 2 videos now without eating, and I probably shouldn't do that. If you guys want to submit your own battles, link to the description down below. Link to all of HouseStark socials down there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.